What if I told you that not every angel who fell from heaven stayed fallen? You know the official story: a war, a fall, an eternity of damnation. But the official story is a lie. They left one name out of the scriptures, and it was their biggest mistake. His name was Namtael. He stood with Lucifer on the day of the Great Rebellion. He drew his sword against his brothers, and when he was cast out, hurtling through the abyss into darkness, he felt something no other fallen angel did. Not pride, not rage, but immediate soul-crushing regret. For thousands of years, the other fallen built their shadowy kingdoms, nursing their hatred. But Namtael was alone, tormented by his choice. He became a ghost, an outcast to both sides, driven by a single impossible goal: to find a way back, to stand before the throne of God and beg for a forgiveness no one had ever received. But what he found on his journey wasn't a prayer or a forgotten ritual. It was a secret so deadly it would rewrite everything we know about good, evil, and the price of free will. And by the end of this, your perception will be changed. His eons in exile were a living hell. In the abyss, the other fallen saw his regret as a weakness. They hunted him. On earth, the echoes of divine light scorched him. He was a creature of two worlds, belonging to neither. This torment fueled his search. He scoured the ruins of forgotten civilizations, deciphered pre-human languages, all for a single clue. He found whispers of it in the fractured prophecies of mad seers, in the glossed-over passages of apocryphal texts. A pattern, a flaw, a detail about the rebellion that didn't add up. Why was the war so swift? Why was the punishment so absolute, with no path to redemption? It felt too simple, too clean, like a cover story. His search led him to a place outside of creation, a wound in reality left over from the war. And there, etched into the very foundation of existence, he found the truth. And it broke him. He realized his quest for personal redemption was a fool's errand, because the key wasn't about forgiveness. The truth he found was this: the rebellion wasn't a surprise attack born of pride. It was orchestrated. It was a necessary, tragic, and pre-planned event. Lucifer hadn't chosen to fall. He was pushed. Namtael saw it all in a horrifying vision: the true reason for the war. To give humanity free will, to make their choices meaningful, there had to be an alternative to the light. A true, tangible shadow. A great adversary. Lucifer, the brightest of all angels, was the only one strong enough to play the part. The rebellion was a stage play, a sacrifice, and the 1/3 of the heavenly host who followed him? They weren't traitors. They were tragic casualties. Their memories of the truth wiped clean and replaced with a simple, easy-to-sell story of pride. Namtael's quest was no longer about saving himself. It was about exposing the celestial order's foundational lie. Armed with this devastating knowledge, Namtael found the way back, not by begging, but by wielding a truth more powerful than any flaming sword. He ascended through the spheres, no longer a penitent soul, but a whistleblower. When he arrived at the pearly gates, chaos erupted. Alarms blared across the Silver City. Legions of archangels with eyes of fire surrounded the impossible. A fallen one returned. They saw a traitor, a stain. But he wasn't there to fight. He stood before them, and he delivered the message that would crack the foundations of heaven. He told them everything: that the Great Rebellion wasn't a war against God, but a sacrifice for God's greatest creation, humanity. That Lucifer wasn't a villain, but the protagonist of a divine tragedy, chosen for his role. That every fallen angel in the pit was a veteran of a war they didn't know they'd truly fought. Their damnation the secret price for our free will. God hadn't cast them out in anger. He did it in sorrow. They weren't banished. They were deployed. The Celestial Chronicles, the official records, they stop right there. The page goes blank. There is no record of the Archangel's response. No mention of what happened when Namtael presented the truth that could absolve 1/3 of their brothers, at the cost of their entire reality. The story has been erased, but echoes remain. It's up to us to find what they buried. What other great villains from our myths and histories were simply playing a role they were forced to take? Search for the stories of necessary evils or noble demons in other cultures. Share your findings below. The investigation has just begun.